right, Graham. Boys just did it. 79-73 over the Auburn Tigers. And the Florida Gators going to the national championship, baby.
Light work. Dylan, listen. You're my co-host. I have a lot of love and respect for you, Dylan Denmark. But I have to call you out. This man, everyone, that is on this podcast with me, picked the Auburn Tigers to win this basketball game. Dylan, why? How are you ashamed of yourself? Is this something you'll carry with you the rest of your life? I hope it is. I hope you're embarrassed. I hope you're sad. What was that? Why would you pick against Walter Clayton Jr.? Have you watched him play basketball? Why would you pick against him?
I picked Auburn Monday.
Why?
Then I picked Florida yesterday.
No. You can't do that.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
No. Why? Okay, well, listen then. Why did you pick Auburn on Monday?
Because Florida wasn't playing well. I felt like Florida wasn't playing well in the last couple of games. And then later in the week, I was like, I think Florida's going to put it together.
Where does number 1 from Lake Wales, Florida, what team does he play for? My eyes are hurting. I told Hag this on Friday. My eyes are deceiving me because both teams are orange and blue. But who does Walter Clayton Jr. play for?
Plays for the Gators, Graham.
That's right. If you pick against Walter Clayton Jr., Dylan, it's your funeral.
All right, here's
your funeral. In all seriousness, all jokes aside, you came to the correct side on Friday. What a freaking basketball game, bro. Oh my God, man. Like, look, they were down 8 at halftime. And with 5 to 10 minutes to go in the game, Auburn was hitting some big shots. Baker Mazzara hit some huge shots. Janai Broome was fantastic most of the night for Auburn. He kind of slowed down at the end, but they were hitting some big shots. But, Dylan, I'll tell you, with 5 minutes left in that game, it didn't feel like the game was in doubt.
No.
It was like, man, like you almost just knew. I don't know if everyone watching the game felt this way, like the national audience, but I think if you'd watched this Gator team all year, the way that game was going, the way it was trending in the last, I'll say 5 to 7 minutes in the game, I don't know how you could come away with that not thinking Florida's going to make a couple of plays here that's going to completely ice it and box Auburn out of any chance to win this basketball game.
Yeah, they were down. What was it? Was it 48-38 at half or 4? It was something like that. They were down 8 or 10.
They were down 8. I don't remember the exact score, but I know they were down 8.
And I'm like, all right, the game started now. We've seen this all tournament. We saw it with UConn, saw it with Maryland, and we saw it Sunday against Texas Tech. It's like, okay, Florida doesn't play well. And it was weird. Like, Auburn was playing Florida's game. Auburn was playing the track meet. And Auburn was going down low a lot, and you started questioning, you're like, okay, like Broome started high, got 6 points. Then he came in late in the first half, and he got a couple points. And you're like, okay, are we gonna adjust here? Are we gonna throw some double teams at him? And you come out of the second half, Florida's down. They're down 9 at one point, and they go bang, 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 3-3-3, and they get another basket going, 11-0 run.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I never felt like Florida was going to lose that game unless they somehow blew it, which in that final minute, Graham, my goodness, like, we got to hold the ball and control some clock, not try to get an alley-oop, not try to get trapped, pick up our dribble. It doesn't matter that, because Florida ended up winning. But, man, the heart rate in that final minute and those final 90 seconds was not good for your boy.
Well, once again, what won the game? Offensive rebounding. Once again, look, the Gators are probably going to win anyways, but what officially when the game was, officially over was when Chinyelu got that rebound and got it back out to Clayton. Look, man. He didn't go crazy on the stat sheet scoring the basketball, but we got to talk about Ruben Chinyelu for a minute. What a freaking game that man played. Like, Alex Condon, it is still an issue. 1 point and then fouling out. That charge was huge, and he contributed in every way he could. It's not like Condon wasn't trying out there, but offensively, he's mentally not where he needs to be right now. Chinyelu, man, the job he did on Janai Broome in the second half was just unbelievable. It got to a point where, like, you know, late in the first half and then early in the second half, it felt like the Texas Tech game did, where Williams of Texas Tech just kept backing us down and kept scoring. And it felt like Broome was doing the same thing. It felt like, you know, no matter what, Broome is going to back them down. They're going to back our bigs down, and he's going to get fouled or he's going to score every single time. That's how it began to feel. And then the Chinyelu flipped a switch, man. And all of a sudden, Broome keeps trying to back down, and he's not getting any closer to the basket after 2 or 3 bumps. He's not getting any closer. He's throwing up bad shots. Florida's getting the ball, and they're headed off to the race. And that was a big, big turning point in the game. There were multiple things, but that was one of the things that I would say really allowed Florida not just go on their run, but then close the door late in the game.
Broome ended up with 15 points. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he had 8 in the first half. He had 6 right, like the first couple minutes of the game, got a basket or 2 late in the first half. So I think he had 10. So 5 or 7 points in the second half in the game where it was tight the whole way through. And he was really, I mean, you look at a couple other guys, you know, Auburn had, you know, a couple of guys that had more points than him, but you knew he was the guy. You knew, like, if Auburn was going to be Florida, it was going to be through Broome's hands.
Yeah.
And was Florida going to adjust and double team him? And they never did. You know,
Never.
and somebody
and
on
the big thing, man, Dylan, I'm sorry to cut you off, but when you brought that up, it just made me think. In the Texas Tech game and this game, something that's a big, big staple of Todd Golden's defense is he does not double bigs. He does not double bigs. And whether you agree with that philosophy or not, it did exactly what you just said. That philosophy meant that Auburn was going to have to live and die with whatever Janai Broome did. And Florida was able, Florida's bigs were able to man up a little bit and slow him down in that second half to where he couldn't score at will and get fouled every time. And they were out of answers at that point because Auburn is used to Janai Broome getting what he wants when he's single covered. And then once a team decides to double team him, now all of a sudden Pettiford gets involved, Kelly gets involved, Denver Jones gets involved. Those guys and Baker Mazzari gets involved, and those guys start hitting big shots because they're getting open looks, feed it into Broome, kick it back out low because somebody's going to be, or kick it back to the three-point line because somebody's going to be left open. Todd Golden doesn't care, man. Todd Golden basically said, I don't care if Broome gets 40. We're not letting them beat us from the three-point line. And once Broome slowed down a little bit, they were out of answers, man. Florida, to your point, and I know I cut you off, but to your point, Florida's ability to man up with Broome and then just shut everything else down and get some key stops, that's the reason Florida's playing the national championship on Monday.
Yeah, this was – and wasn't talked about, at least from what I heard from a lot of people. You know, we'll be here at the radio station on 10XL, and then, you know, I listen to a lot of people. It's weird. I didn't bet on the game, but I listened to a lot of people that talked about the game, like from Vegas and, you know, the line and the over-under and all that. By the way, your boy put out under 160.5 cash. Did I bet it? No. So whatever that's worth. But what wasn't talked about enough of this game, and you could tell early, like this was going to be a chess match between the two coaches.
Yeah.
And you know Todd Golden, and you know it's all well documented how he had been under Bruce Pearl, and both coaches had a good plan. You know, Auburn came out red hot, which you didn't really see coming. They went to their bigs a lot, which Texas Tech took advantage of the previous game against Florida. And Florida was strive for strive with them for the entire game. There was a little point where Auburn got out a run, and they took a 9-point lead, but then it evaporated really quick.
Yeah.
The coaching this game, you know, along with, I mean, how great of a game it was great. It was great, you know, as you know, as we've seen all year.
Yeah, it was. And look, Bruce Pearl's an unbelievable basketball coach. Obviously, Todd Golden's an unbelievable basketball coach. I don't really have a lot of negative things to say about Auburn, to be honest with you. If Auburn were to have won this game, I would have rooted for them to win it all. Because I do like Bruce Pearl, and I'm not a big root for the SEC guy, but I just think it would be cool with how good the conference has been this year to see an SEC team win. Obviously, ideally the Gators, and now we get a chance to try to go prove that on Monday. But look, you knew this game was going to be a close basketball game all the way through. You knew that both teams were too good, both coaches were too good, and the moment was too big for one team to just completely crab their pants and get killed. You knew that wasn't going to happen. But late in that game, I mean, you just felt like with the key players for the Gators, you felt like between Walter Clayton Jr., obviously, Thomas Houck, obviously, Elijah Martin, Will Richard, you just felt like, and I kept saying this a couple minutes left, I'm just like, man, if they can just make a couple of key stops, I know they're going to get the buckets to ice the game. I know they will. It's just about getting a few key stops, be it turnovers, be it just a missed shot, get the rebound, whatever. But you can get a few clean stops without fouling, get the ball back. I know for a fact Florida's going to hit a couple of big threes. They're going to get a line. They're going to get fouled, all the above. I know they've got the right stuff offensively to do that. They just need a couple of stops. They got them, and before you know it, Auburn's fouling, and they're desperate with 2 minutes left in the game. So that was huge. Liquid Flames comments talking about those Martin dunks.
That was unreal.
Wow, that last dunk, Dylan, is one of the best plays. It's one of the best basketball plays I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Elijah Martin, when he got that turnover, he said, I don't care if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his prime is protecting this rim. I am dunking this ball with force, and I'm going to let them feel it. He absolutely did. That was honestly maybe the moment where I knew Auburn mentally was really, really in trouble, because it's like, wow, this team was up 8, and now they're losing, and they just saw that dunk. Like, that's got to be tough mentally in that big of a moment. When that happened, I'm like, all right, Florida's playing with that swag that brought them an SEC championship, and I don't think they're going to be denied at this point, man.
Man, so we're going to bring this up, and I'm sure I know where you're going to go, and everybody, we're talking about this a lot in the chat about the refs. So that dunk happens. I believe this is how the sequence went. That dunk happened. I mean, he dunked from the damn free throw line. I was like, I didn't know if he was going to make it. He was in the air for so long. He gets that dunk, and then Florida gets I don't know if it was a steal, but they go in transition. Martin drives. Thomas Howell loses the ball, goes out of bounds. I'm like, if Florida would have got that, I feel like the roof would have exploded and Florida would have carried that momentum. And then right after that was a clean block. I think it was Thomas Howell's block. I mean, there was so many of them. I think it was Thomas Howell's block. Correct me if I'm wrong. Drop it in the chat. It was either Condon or Howell. I think it was Howell gets that clean block, and then he goes to the line for 2. I mean, if we go dunk, Thomas Howell gets that bucket, and then that clean block, I don't think there's even a conversation that Auburn's even within the game in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I agree. And Dylan, you and I have talked about this, in other podcasts throughout this run and in the SEC tournament. I think we talked about it specifically when they won the SEC title game. One of my favorite parts about this team is when they smell blood. They smell blood, man. Like when they start getting on a run, and they like this is the type of team, because they're so talented, but they play with that edge. It's been really talked about. These guys weren't highly recruited. These guys weren't guys that everybody wanted. So when they play with that edge, they're the type that when they get a break with a turnover, or when they hit a big 3, they turn that into another turnover and another 3, and then another dunk and an and one. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're the type of team that not just capitalizes on their opportunities, but they double down and triple down on them, and before you know it, you're out of the game against these boys.
Yeah, it was actually, I wrote it down, Thomas Howell, who was the one that got the clean block, got the all ball. I mean, I didn't think the refs were great. But the one thing I'll say.
Actually, go ahead. I cut you off already. Go ahead.
Like, you're going to get calls that are for you and against you. I would much rather see the refs just swallow the whistle, because you saw so many times in that second half where the momentum of the game is going and it has a good flow, and then it just dies. And then like it's going, and it just like, it drives me nuts. I mean, granted, it was in Florida's favor, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. So I feel like I agree, and I feel like Florida's the type of team that look. Their bugaboo we've talked about already. We talked about it many times this year is the turnovers. Um, yeah, Tyler, I did see that. Like
I
literally,
love
very first
that.
possession of the game. And look, man, Condon mentally, I don't know what's wrong with him offensively, but he fought his ass off defensively. That charge was a humongous play in this basketball game. So I think, look, and back to the refs point you were just saying a minute ago. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not a huge blame the refs guy, and I wouldn't have blamed this on why they lost if Florida had lost. But nine players on the floor get a certain whistle, and then Janai Broom gets another. Can we agree on that?
100%.
Like, I mean,
It's like that LeBron in the NBA, Steph Curry in the NBA,
and I
Tom
get it.
Brady when he
Sorry,
played.
great player, but there were certain times, like some of those Clayton layups, I felt like he definitely got fouled and didn't get the and one. Some of the, I think Will Richard had, I think two where he went up pretty strong, definitely got fouled, and they didn't call it. And there were a few like that with Florida where I'm kind of like, I don't know about that. And I wouldn't say that like, the refs are like way in Auburn's favor or anything like that, but Janai Broom he gets a couple where I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I think I and everybody else agree. I'm trying to look at how big of a run Florida got in those final 10 minutes. So with 10 minutes left in the game, with 10:09 left in the game, Aberdeen made a free throw, tied the game at 57. So in the final 10 minutes of the game, Florida outscored Auburn 22 to 13, 15. So Auburn scored 15 points in the final 10 minutes of the game. That's and another thing too. I don't know if you want to say it was Florida's defense and part of it was Auburn's offense. Auburn had a lot of turnovers that second half, man. A lot. They said in the broadcast, I think it was like, was it 10, 11? A lot of possessions.
It felt like some of their turnovers felt like some of the dumb ones Florida commits. Look, if your turnover is you're driving a lane, you're being aggressive, and someone makes a nice strip and it goes off your knee or something like I'll live with those. Those turnovers don't bother me as much. It's the dumb passes. When a guy cuts one way and you pass it the other, it goes out of bounds. It's when you try to make a cross court pass and it gets intercepted. Like those are the turnovers that really piss me off, man. I'm like, oh my god. But Florida in the first half had a couple of them. Condon had a bad turnover in the first half. He was trying to pass it to Wilbur. I'm like, what are you doing?
Dude, he's had that all tournament.
Not been himself. Not been himself. So look, hopefully he gets back to himself in the national championship game because I think we're going to need an all hands on deck type of effort regardless of which team comes out in this later game.
Yeah.
Can you bring up really quick? Can you bring up Peter's comment? It's the last one for Facebook, real quick.
Yeah, Walter Clayton.
I would like to address Peter's comment because he's absolutely right. This is what matters. The Florida Gators have Walter Clayton Jr. Other teams do not. That's all I got to know. That's all I got to know.
Dude, Walter Clayton ended up having, was it 34? He had 34.
He scored a lot of basketball points today. A lot of them. When the ball goes in the basket, he did that a lot of times, and it was fun to watch.
So Florida only had 3 guys reach double-digit points. Walter Clayton had 34. Martin had 17. Thomas Howell had 12. And then everybody else got their crumbs at the end of the game. We need to bring this up while we're riding this hot horse. We gotta find a way to better. We gotta find a way to end the game better in that final minute or 2 minutes. Because if it does get in a situation, and I think regardless if they play Houston or Duke, it's gonna be close. Florida hasn't been in a situation like that all year, have they?
What?
Where the team is playing full court press on them in the final 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
No, they've been in a few, but I don't know if any have been that tight. But Tennessee was at the end of the SEC tournament, but Florida was able to break it and get a couple of buckets, and that was about it. they've gotten a few. I mean, and especially this stage in the game, everyone's going to foul you. The main thing is you just got to hit your free throws, man. You got to not turn the ball over and hit your free throws. A couple of dumb turnovers at the end, like Elijah Martin, that one where it ended up being, I think it ended up being a tie-up. A possession error went to Auburn. I'm like, dude, he had passes, man, but he took forever to get over the line. It was almost a 10-second violation. And then once he got over, he's just sitting there holding the ball. I'm like, dude, you've got people to throw the ball, like pass it off.
Yeah.
So I agree that there's a couple of moments like that where it's kind of like, oh, guys, let's keep our heads in it right here, man.
Yeah, there was that at midcourt. There was the one I think it was Martin too. It might have been Richard in their own court. He gets trapped, picks up his own dribble, and then late Thomas Howell misses both free throws, and luckily Chinyelu gets that offensive rebound. And
because if Auburn gets that rebound, goes down and makes the three, we're way different ball game last 10, 15 seconds of the game. But that was in not only for look, everyone's gonna talk about that rebound. That was a great rebound for Ruben to get the rebound and then have the smarts to see Clayton, a 90+% free throw shooter, instead of himself, a 50+% free throw shooter, to get the rebound and then get it off to your best free throw shooter on the basketball team. What a play! What a play!
Yeah,
he played. I want to say it again. Chinyelu deserves a lot of flowers tonight.
Yeah. Chinyelu had the most rebounds. He had 9. It's giving me offensive and defense. He had 3 offensive rebounds. And Ham Lockton had 3 offensive rebounds. Yeah. I mean, the game, if you look at the box score, most of the game was pretty even. Both teams had the same amount of threes. Florida shot 47%. Auburn shot 43%. I mean, when they were at, it was like the first 10 minutes of the game, and both teams were above 50% from the field. I was like, yeah, this isn't going to keep going on. I mean, both usually, when they're playing that stupid football stadium, I hate the look of the Final Four in the national title always being in a football stadium. It's too open. I'd rather it be like in an actual arena.
The first 5 to 10 minutes of a game, people trying to shoot is always an adventure.
Yes, it's always like you don't ever know, and it's because.
But that's why. And I'm serious about this. Florida making a run in the SEC tournament and getting those extra games to play in Bridgestone. That's kind of a similar vibe, that sort of bigger arena feel. I think that's helped prepare him for that because it did. I mean, Clayton's first 2 or 3 threes were buckets.
Yeah.
So. And he made that one three.
Oh my gosh! In the corner, that was insane.
I mean, what? I felt bad for Baker Mazar, man, because he played great defense on it. He was right, and he knew because it's funny because every team has seen on film what he likes to do. When he's covered but still wants to pull up, he loves that little hop step to his right and then basically shoot from his right shoulder. That was insane, dude. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's when you're the defense and you just throw your hands up and you just go, man, I don't know.
That gets back to the point of give me the Gators over anybody because the Florida Gators have Walter Clayton Jr. People don't. It's that simple, man. It's that simple.
We have Rob here. We'll start asking if y'all want to drop any questions. We'll answer them now since we got our stuff out of the way. Let's see how much does the game start yet.
I'm not sure. I'm outside.
Man, it's not started yet.
I don't want to bother him by screaming too much about the Florida Gators. So.
Yeah, as much as I don't want to see Duke, it'd be fun seeing Flag and Clayton. Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a matchup. If Florida does end up seeing Duke, I think Duke beats Houston. Houston can only win one way tonight. I think that's if they play perfect offensively. I mean, I think if they score 70, that'd be pretty wild. I think Duke. I don't know how much they win by. They're favored by 5, but I think Duke has control of the whole game tonight.
I don't care. I don't care if it's the Boston Celtics playing the Gators on Monday night. Give me the team that has number 1 from Lake Wales. That's all I need, man. Give me Florida Atlantic University. Give me the transfer from Belmont University. Give me the Australian. Give me Ruben Chinyelu. Give me Thomas Houck from New Oxford, Pennsylvania. Grew up at Gator. Right. Denzel Aberdeen from Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando. Give me those boys. He didn't even play tonight. Give me Irvan Klavzar, the Slovenian shooter. Give me quarter zip Todd. Todd with the blue Q zip tonight looked fantastic. My brother was fantastic, my man. He was against his mentor. He said, I don't care who you are. You taught me everything. Well, guess what? I know even more now. And I got number one, and he is going to embarrass you tonight. That's exactly what happened. Go Gators. I don't care who they play.
And they were in their blue uniforms tonight. They weren't in their whites.
The big game blues, baby. The big game blues. How did you knowing they were going to be in the big game blues, Dylan? How? Is that what happened? Is that what happened on Monday? You picked Auburn, but then you heard they were going to be in the big game blues. So
yeah, that's it.
Those blues can't pick against a team in those blues. They're too beautiful. You see that Jumpman logo, man? You see the Final Four on the other. Whew. Oh, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful to watch.
Todd Golden starting to rely too much on Clayton the half court sets tonight. Agree, disagree?
I don't agree. Rob, I love you. I disagree with that. I thought Elijah Martin made a lot of plays in the half court tonight. I thought Thomas Houck did his normal thing in the half court. I thought Johnny says Walter was no, he was not.
I think he's wrong.
No. I think. Okay, you better be trolling Johnny. Anyway, sorry, we're talking about Rob's comment. I kind of feel like Todd Golden is starting to rely too much on Clayton in the half court sets tonight. No. Mike, yes. I might be getting trolled right now. I'm too excited to tell the difference. I don't really care. But any negative slander towards the Florida Gators, we're going to have problems tonight. It's going to be on site. But look. Offensively, I thought Martin was the best player not named Walter Clayton. I thought it was very clear that he's been in this moment before tonight. I thought it was very clear. Look, we talked about this, I think, last episode, Dylan. Like, Martin and Houck are the guys. And against Texas Tech, it was Houck. And tonight it was Martin. They're the guys that when nothing's falling, Florida's kind of flat, there's some bad turnovers, they're not playing super well, they've given up a run, whatever. He's the guy that goes and gets the turnover and then gets a slam to get everybody going. He's the guy that gets a big block. He's the guy that goes and hits a big shot. Like, that's him. And I think having Walt be what Walt is obviously what has been the main thing that's carried Florida where they are right now. But I think the next thing you got to talk about is between Houck and Martin. Anytime there's adversity, anytime they're not playing well, anytime they need something, they need a win, they need some momentum, those have been the guys. And
yeah. All right. If anybody wants to throw anything in here before we roll out of here, we do on about 30 minutes. I want to catch
this. Saturday night, Florida Gators are in the national championship. Pour your favorite drink, get to your favorite bar, be with your favorite people, eat your favorite dinner, do what you got to do to celebrate this, man. Look, Dylan and I just talked about it. We talked a little bit about the Houston Duke game, who they're going to look. You got the team's got to they got to flip the switch, right? They don't have any time. They got to flip the switch. They can't celebrate this for very long, and they got to move on. You, the fan, you have not gotten to watch the Florida Gators be in a Final Four in 11 years, and you haven't gotten to watch them win a Final Four game much longer than that. Enjoy this, man. Until Monday night, don't think about Monday night right now. Enjoy this. It's cut off. That's crazy. Everybody, enjoy. If you're a Gator fan, which everybody here listening is, enjoy this, man. Like, these types of teams don't come around every day, man. Elijah Martin does not come around every day. Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard, these guys don't come around all the time, man. Soak this in. Enjoy every moment. It's just a beautiful thing to watch in the orange and blue, man.
Via ESPN stats and info, Walter Clayton Jr. is the first player with back-to-back 30-point games in the Elite Eight and the Final Four since Larry Bird in 1979.
Did he turn out to be pretty good at basketball?
He was all right.
Remind me about Larry. Indiana State. Indiana State and the Boston Celtics. He was a pretty good player, right? If to my recollection.
I think it was all right. couple titles.
Tyler says, "Give me Clayton, Florida by 50." That is the attitude, Tyler. Everyone tonight, enjoy that you get to cheer on this basketball team. Enjoy what Todd Golden and this team has done. And then Monday night, we'll talk about Monday night.
All right, last picture I'll show. This is our boy Jake.
Oh, great picture! Wow,
dude.
Shout out Jacob Simons. He's there for 10-10XL for the flagship of the Gators and Jaguars here in Jacksonville, Florida, getting great picks. Let's go, man.
All right. I'm gonna watch this Charles Barkley video and watch this Duke game, and we'll have a show Monday night for y'all. Is it tip off at 9 o'clock?
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, Dylan. This show, this run has been so much fun. We're gonna keep doing it, baby.
Yeah, is tip off 9 o'clock on Monday?
Is late. That sounds right. Something like that. I know it's later.
That's ridiculous.
8:50, 9 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate y'all popping in. We're on the Gators, 1010XL Gators on Facebook, YouTube. We're on Twitter at 1010XL. And we'll do this again Monday night.
Apple and Spotify.
That too. Yeah, anytime you get pocket. All right, we're being told 8:50 is a tip off. So we should have a post game at 11-ish. So all right, that was sick. Go Gators.
Yes, sir.